Congratulations, you just executed your first 20% weekend project. It was a lot of hard work, or maybe not so much, but you've come a long way from the time since you started this module. This is one of the most important parts of the module because beyond actually getting the project done, one of the most important things is showing that you actually did it. We'll talk about this more in the legitimacy video, but for now, all I want you to focus on is capturing and documenting your work in a portfolio. As you saw in the I+ videos, we're going to create a portfolio with pictures, motivational, and background information on the project. But for now, let's just start with a simple written reflection in the form of a PowerPoint or Google Slides presentation. So here's your action item. After you execute the project, we want you to do 3 things. 1, create a 6-slide presentation on your project. 2, share it with one friend or teacher or whoever. And 3, upload it. Why is it important that you get used to talking about your project in an organized way? Well, A, it helps you reflect and improve on further iterations. B, it spreads inspiration and may persuade someone else to start their own project. C, it builds your reputation as a do-gooder and doer. And D, you'll eventually need to share what you've done with an interviewer for a university, an interviewer who is about to give you a job offer, or even a potential date or a significant other. Ooh. The presentation should be short, just 2 to 3 minutes. That's an optimal time before the listener starts to lose their attention. Demos and pictures are great. We highly recommend using them. For the slide presentation, you should have a slide for the title and name, one for the problem and motivation, one for the process, one for the result, one for the reflection with next steps and future ideas, and one for thanking the audience. Each of these components will look different for each student and their project, but the structure will largely remain the same. The reason we're organizing it in this way is because this directly reflects the structure of the 3-month 20% project portfolio and captures the essence of what you've done in a clear and concise manner. Let's break down each component. For the title slide, pick a snappy title for what you did. If you ran a swimming workshop, for example, don't just put swimming workshop or my name's swimming workshop. Be creative. Come up with a snappy name or title, maybe use some puns, and grab the audience's attention right away. For the problem and motivation, describe what made you want to do this project. Have you always been interested in this topic? Is it something that you've always wanted to learn? Why? Were there any shows that drove you to get here? What made you put it down on the brainstorm list? More importantly, what drove you to get to this point and actually finish the project? It's great to share a story or personal anecdote that motivated you to get started, like Ava did for Cookies for Kids. For the process slide, give some highlights on what it was like to actually plan and execute the project. What were some of the main considerations? Where was it located? What were some of the most important logistics? Emphasis on important. You shouldn't give a totally comprehensive list. For the result, consider the imagination paragraph you wrote earlier and some of the quantitative metrics you chose for success. Were you able to achieve that feeling and hit those numbers? Maybe you didn't. That's okay. Knowing that you didn't like a project and don't want to continue is just as important as knowing you liked a project and want to continue. For the reflections section, consider what could have went better at each stage. How long did it take to actually do each task compared to how long you had estimated? Did you try to minimize risk, and were there any unforeseen obstacles that came up? Are you the type of person to overestimate or underestimate effort and risks? More importantly, think about what you learn about yourself in this process and what the next step and future of this idea is. Does it end here or does it continue? What's the next iteration? Finally, include a thank you slide. But be careful, this slide is not only for thanking the audience for listening, but also for thanking all the people that helped you out in this project. Whether it was your parents or your friends, the people aspect of this project required that you worked with someone. So make sure you mention it here to show how you are grateful for their experience and help. As for the write-up, I want you to write a 2-paragraph reflection. What surprised you? What would you want to do differently next time? What would you do the same? This will essentially be a story-like essay version of the presentation that you make. I know this might sound like one of those pointless filler activities that you've done in school for other classes, but it's not. This reflection is crucial because it is going to form the ideological basis for your essays on this topic. It's so important to write about how you did, how you feel about the project right after you completed it, rather than a few months later when it's become a distant memory. In fact, this is so important to us that we'd like you to upload your reflection and presentation after watching this video. You can even take a look at the ranks of students who have made it to this point before you. We've attached a few exemplars of presentations and write-ups from previous students and their 20% weekend projects for your reference. Also, know that me and Kevin watch every video presentation and read every write-up for the weekend project. We love to see you guys doing them. And who knows, if you write a great one, we'll put you on our blog and you might even get highlighted on our YouTube channel. But the biggest reward is not recognition or external validation. It's how you grew and learned more about yourself. Remember, the more thought and work you put in now, the more your future self will thank you for it. Besides all of that, give yourself a pat on the back for a job well done. You just did your first 20% project and have completed the prototype module.